They say you should never judge a book by its cover, but in the glittering world of the city's elite, that's all anyone ever did. To them, Ilara was just a quiet girl from the countryside, married into the prestigious Crestfall family. A nobody. Her husband, Leo, was the heir apparent, and his family saw her as nothing more than a stain on their perfect lineage. They mocked her clothes, ridiculed her simple manners, and whispered behind her back at every opulent gathering. For 3 long years, Ilara endured it all with a quiet grace that they mistook for weakness. She cooked, she cleaned, she bore their insults in silence, all for the sake of a promise she had made. Leo himself was the coldest of them all. He'd married her out of a sense of duty his grandfather had imposed, but he never let her forget her place. "Just remember what you are, Ilara," he'd sneer, "a country bumpkin. Don't embarrass the Crestfall name." His words were like little daggers, but Ilara's spirit was forged in a fire they couldn't possibly comprehend. She would just lower her eyes and whisper, "I know, Leo." But her quiet obedience only fueled their contempt. Leo's mother, Beatrice, was particularly vicious. "Look at her," she'd say to her friends. "She's like a little mouse, scurrying in the shadows. We'll be rid of her soon enough." The final straw came during the annual Crestfall family banquet. It was a lavish affair, a spectacle of wealth and power. All the city's most influential figures were there, dripping in diamonds and arrogance. Leo, as usual, had warned her not to make a scene. "Just stand in the corner and try to be invisible," he had commanded. But his mistress, a glamorous socialite named Chloe, had other plans. She paraded Leo around on her arm, openly mocking Ilara. "Oh, look, the little maid is here," Chloe announced loudly, ensuring everyone could hear. "Shouldn't you be in the kitchen, darling?" The room erupted in cruel laughter. Tears welled in Ilara's eyes, but she held them back. She looked at Leo, hoping for a shred of decency, a single word in her defense. But he just looked away, a smirk playing on his lips. That was it. The promise was broken. Her duty was done. She had given them 3 years. 3 years of her life, wasted on people who saw her as less than human. With a newfound resolve, she wiped her eyes, her posture straightening, her presence suddenly commanding. She walked calmly to the center of the grand ballroom. The laughter died down, replaced by curious whispers. What was the little mouse doing? "Leo Crestfall," she said, her voice clear and steady, ringing through the hall. "I want a divorce." The room gasped. Leo's face turned from amusement to fury. "How dare you?" he hissed. "You have nothing. You are nothing without me." His mother stepped forward, her face a mask of rage. "You ungrateful wretch, we gave you everything." Ilara simply smiled, a sad, knowing smile. "You gave me nothing but scorn," she replied, "and now your time is up." Just as Leo was about to grab her, the grand doors of the ballroom burst open. A dozen figures in crisp, imposing military uniforms marched in, their boots echoing on the marble floor. They moved with a precision that sent a chill through the room. At their head was a man with a weathered face and an aura of absolute authority. His uniform was adorned with medals that glittered under the chandeliers, each one a testament to a legendary career. He was General Corbin, a name whispered with awe and fear in the highest circles of power, the commander of the nation's most elite Special Forces unit, the Iron Wolves. The entire room fell into a stunned, deathly silence. General Corbin scanned the crowd, his gaze like ice, before it landed on Ilara. He strode towards her, stopping a few feet away. The tension was unbearable. Then, in a voice that boomed with respect and unwavering loyalty, he dropped to one knee. The room froze. Jaws dropped. Leo and his family looked on in utter disbelief. What was happening? The legendary General Corbin was kneeling. To Ilara. And then came the words that shattered their entire world. The general looked up at her and declared, his voice full of emotion, "Commander, your 5-year mission is complete. On behalf of the Iron Wolves, I welcome you home." The silence was broken by a single, unified sound. The soldiers behind him raised their right hands to their brows in a perfect, synchronized salute. "Iron Wolf," General Corbin roared, his voice echoing through the silent hall. "Present arms." The entire unit snapped to attention, their collective presence a tidal wave of power that washed over the arrogant, stunned socialites. Ilara, the quiet country girl, the meek little mouse, was their commander, the legendary, enigmatic, and untouchable leader of the Iron Wolves, the one they called the Iron Wolf. Ilara looked down at the kneeling general, a single tear finally tracing a path down her cheek. It wasn't a tear of sadness, but of release. She then turned her gaze to the Crestfall family. Leo's face was pale, his mouth hanging open in shock. Beatrice looked like she had seen a ghost. Chloe had stumbled backward, her painted face a mess of confusion and terror. The mockery, the insults, the years of humiliation, it all seemed so petty, so insignificant now. They had tried to break a woman who could command armies. They had belittled a queen, thinking she was a pauper. "My mission," Ilara said, her voice now filled with the authority she had kept hidden for so long, "was to understand the heart of corruption that festers in this city. I lived among you. I saw your greed, your cruelty. I thank you, Crestfall family, for being such an illuminating case study." She gave Leo a final, pitying look. "Our marriage is over, and as for the Crestfall Empire—" She paused, letting the weight of her unspoken threat hang in the air. "I'd suggest you get your affairs in order." With that, she turned her back on them, on her old life, and walked toward the exit, her soldiers falling into formation around her, a protective wall of steel. The doors closed behind her, leaving the city's elite in the ruins of their own arrogance, their world forever changed by the woman they thought was nobody. Her story was just beginning. Thank you so much for watching. What a comeback, right? If you love stories about hidden strength and seeing bullies get what they deserve, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. We've got plenty of tales where the underestimated hero rises. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Ilara's epic reveal. Until next time, stay strong and never let anyone dim your light.